What are we behind our mask? And more importantly, what are we capable of when we bury our own identity putting on those masks? Hey there, you all. It is Super Saturday, the show where we discuss all things super and awesome. And boy, do we have a treat for y'all today. It started all the way back in '90 when Warner Brothers Animation president Gene McCurdy announced to the team they were going to develop its licenses, including Batman. Character design was given to one of my favorite artists, Bruce Timm, while set design went to Eric Radomski. What they developed was the incredible Batman the Animated Series, a series whose impact and reception needs no retelling. Well, at least it needs its own video. Now, between season one and season two, something even more amazing happened. The team got its own theatrical release movie. Yes, we are talking about Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Originally planned as a direct-to-video release, Warner Brothers rolled the dice on going to the theaters. This brought with it a heck of a challenge. The team would have to pump out a fully realized movie in 8 months. Compound that with Phantasm being the very first theatrical film produced by Warner Brothers Animation, and, well, you can see the hurdles they had to leap. And leap them they did. Phantasm was heaped with positive reviews, lauding its stylized animation, the voice acting, the story, and especially the music. The film was also a big hit with fans, though there was little surprise there. But the marketing failed. Since it was released to theaters on such short notice, there just wasn't time to garner the attention the film deserved, and folks were unaware of its run. Had this been properly marketed, I imagine the money it made during its theatrical run would have been quite different. As it stood, it made just shy of 6 million on a budget of 6 million. So yeah, this thing did not do well, at least in the theater. When it hit the home releases, however, it became quite a different story. There it found financial success, and rightly so, because it is an incredible movie, peeling back the cowl of Batman, showing Bruce Wayne behind there in a very emotional but relatable way. And with a character that's been around for so long that he's approaching public domain status, that's no easy task. Let's get into the details. Bruce Wayne has begun his crusade against crime, frustrated by their lack of fear at just a dude in a mask. Eager to complicate an already complicated situation, Bruce begins dating Andrea Beaumont. This is a pivotal moment in Bruce's life as it's given the weight it requires and the space to breathe. We're gifted with several scenes of budding romance, things going well, just a hint that Bruce might never don the mantle of the Cape Crusader. Not to be, though. Andrea abruptly leaves Gotham with her businessman father, letting Bruce down with a Dear John letter. This clears the path for Bruce to put on the cowl, convert the caverns beneath Wayne Manor into the Batcave, and really commit to his fate. Fast forward to a time between season 1 and season 2 of the animated series, Batman has established himself and his crusade is marching on. A complication arrives in the form of the Phantasm, a vengeful figure that appears mysteriously on the scene and begins wiping out Gotham's mob bosses. All the while, Batman is getting the heat for the Phantasm's killings. Not terrible, but Batman doesn't kill, and the Phantasm does. So the various scum of Gotham's underbelly start getting desperate, and in their desperation, they turn to a man they don't quite understand. Wait, where have I heard that before?
With respect, Master Wayne, perhaps this is a man you don't fully understand either.
Not going to spoil the Phantasm's identity here, but like me, the first time I watched The Perfect Storm, don't be surprised if it's spoiled. The movie's 30 years old, come on. The film climaxes with an astounding battle across the decrepit world of tomorrow. Batman, the Joker, and the Phantasm all duking it out in a set piece that set a heck of a standard for animated films to come. Remember, kids, grandeur is where you make it. Anywho, we were blessed to still have Kevin Conroy, we miss you, man, as Batman and his buddy Mark Hamill playing Joker for this film. There just isn't a duo better than that, in my opinion. And man, it was gone too dang soon. The beautiful Dana Delaney gives the voice of Andrea Beaumont, and we have a plethora of the usual solid voice acting talents Warner Brothers Animation somehow wrangled together, not the least of which being the prolific Stacy Keach as Andrea's father. Now, as mentioned before, the film was crunched down to 8 months, where most animated films take about 2 years to finish. Alan Burnett was given the writing duties. His first treatment was a kangaroo court style drama, but this required Batman to sit around the entire film, so the idea was scrapped. It was, however, repurposed for an episode of the animated series called Trial, and it is quite good. However, Burnett came back wanting to incorporate characters outside Batman's usual rogues gallery, along with adding a love story element. Once the concept was locked in, Martin Pascoe came on board to write the flashback segments, Michael Reeves wrote the freaking awesome climax, and Paul Dini states he added bits in here and there. The design of the Phantasm went through several iterations. The intent was to make it look like the ghost of Christmas yet to come in Dickens's Christmas Carol, and I think they got pretty close. Joker mentions this later in the film, too, by the way. Dongyang Studios in South Korea handled the bulk of the animation, while the layout work went to Spectrum Animation in Japan. Now, a tiny bit of drama, as there's always drama. The film is very similar in many respects to Batman Year 2 by Mike W. Barr and illustrated by Alan Davis and Todd McFarlane. At first, Warner Brothers claimed it was just a coincidence. Barr would have a meeting with Paul Levitz at DC Comics where he would bring up an interesting detail that he had visited the offices of Batman the Animated Series a couple times, and both times he saw a guy furiously typing away at a script with a copy of Batman Year 2 open next to him. So Barr settled for a portion of the film's earnings as well as a cut for the creation of the Phantasm. He stated he just wanted to keep it in the family. Anyway, moving on from all that. As stated before, the film flopped at the box office, grossing 1.2 million over the Christmas Day holiday and then petering out over the subsequent months, not even breaking even. However, it would go on to turn a profit once released to home video, thank goodness, which you can find numerous copies of across a variety of formats. It's very easy to get a hold of. And critics laid many acolytes at the film's feet, calling it stylish and respectful of the source material, a success where some of the live action films fell short. The British magazine Empire called it the best film of '93, with storylines exceeding Tim Burton's pair of Batman films. TV Guide praised the Art Deco noir design, and Rich Harrington of the Washington Post agreed, praising the animation, the design, the dialogue, storyline, as well as the film score. Legendary film critics Siskel and Ebert expressed their regret at not having seen it in the theater, but praised the copy they viewed at once on home media, attesting to the film's quality. I myself saw it in the theater, and it was freaking fantastic. Producer Mike Uslan stated the film is possibly the best Batman film ever made, as the story itself will stand the test of time, which I agree. Wired's Scott Thill called out Kevin Conroy as the finest Batman on record. Can't argue with that. IGN ranked the film 25th best animated film of all time back in 2010, and in 2011, the British film magazine Total Film concurred, ranking it 47th out of 50. Time magazine even chimed in that same year, calling it one of the 10 best superhero films of all time. And the accolades just go on and on. Had it had a better marketing campaign, the mind beggars to imagine how well regarded it might have been, in addition to how well regarded the film already is. All that aside, it's an understated classic, one of the best Batman films ever made, and enjoyable from start to finish. I strongly urge everyone to get out there, get you a copy today. You will not be disappointed. But that's all we got time for today. I thank you one and all for turning out this Saturday morning, giving me a moment of your time. I do hope I've entertained you, if nothing else, with my hillbilly ratings for another show. Now, it's Saturday morning, y'all. Get out there, watch you some cartoons, keep the tradition alive. While you're at it, maybe read a comic, roll some dice, gather around the table, make some memories, drink your little water, get some exercise, and as always, have a good one.